and welcome back. Woman threatened with arrest after asking citizens to rise up against terrorism. Now we see the true motive. Well, we already knew their motive, but it's becoming more and more obvious. Columnist Kate Hopkins was threatened with arrest after tweeting the following message. Western men, these are your wives, your daughters, your sons. Stand up, rise up, demand action. Do not carry on as normal. Cowed. The Metropolitan Police acknowledges the tweet after a man called for Hopkins' arrest for making such racist statement. Everything's racist now. Even though Islam isn't even a race. Who cares, it's racist. What's next? Brown paper bags are racist, I suppose? Or even milk, perhaps, because it's white? Kate Hopkins. This is the response from the Metropolitan Police to the slaughter of our children in Manchester, the failed state. So after Kate Hopkins says this, a guy named Darren B. This is clearly inciting racial hatred, and the police should be informed. You've had enough warnings. Perhaps a spell behind bars will help. Please investigate. And the pathetic cops, who are paid for and funded by international banksters, say, we can confirm a complaint has been received and the allegation will be reviewed and assessed by specialist officers. I swear, if our great-grandfathers who fought in the First and Second World War would see what would happen 100 years after the fight, they never would have gone. And then this girl says an allegation of hate speech by Hopkins is being reviewed and assessed by Metro Police, the speech police. My goodness. And the end of free speech has come about across Europe once again. Under a different enemy. A different face. Disgusting. Breaking. Martial law just declared the following after an Islamic attack. The president of the Philippines has declared martial law following a clash with ISIS-linked militants. So this is a worldwide phenomenon. The Army of Darkness has their fingers in every single country, and they got terror cells across the world. Reuters. Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte on Tuesday declared martial law in southern Mindanao province after fighting raged in southern Marwari city between the army and militants linked to the Islamic State. Presidential spokesman Ernesto Abella made the announcement in Moscow, where the president is on a visit. A meeting with Dmitry will be cancelled on Wednesday, but Duterte will remain in Russia, Foreign Minister Alan Peter said in a televised news conference. Now, it kind of gets to the point where what type of civilization should we really have? Because we have this guy, the president of the Philippines, who launched a war against its drug dealers and criminals and killed many of them and watched crime plummet. And then we have here in Western civilization where we don't really kill anybody, we just imprison them and the attacks continue. Now who has the right idea, us or them? And when it comes to the Army of Darkness, we could look no further than this man who has been funding most of it. And I would not be surprised if he gets his instructions directly from the Lord below. George Soros is at it again. Look what he is funding now. Now I've seen it all. Billionaire George Soros is now funding a legal group for illegal immigrants. A legal group for illegal immigrants. If that's not an oxymoron, I'm not sure what is. DailyColor.com reported the city of Baltimore and a private non-profit have established a legal defense fund for illegal immigrants in deportation proceedings in hopes of attracting more immigrants to the shrinking city. It's shrinking because the crime has skyrocketed. The city has partnered with a nonprofit called the Open Society Institute of Baltimore and raised $500,000 to provide illegals facing deportation proceedings with legal aid. Open society groups were founded and are chaired by liberal financier George Soros, who isn't even an American. So they want to talk about collusion between Russia and Trump. What about George Soros, who's not even an American, who actually helped Hitler round up Jews and he's a Jew. And this is the guy pushing this crap. Yet no one says a thing, and half the people don't even know the man. NPR reports city officials are seen as immigrant communities across Baltimore as a bulwark against troubling demographic trends. The city's population has declined precipitously in recent decades from a high of 900,000 in 1970 to just over 600,000 after the 2010 census. The decline is attributed to the white flight that attended widespread social unrest in the 1960s and 70s, and more recently, the displacement of the black populations by new arrivals to the country. City officials hope to rejuvenate social networks and their tax base by making Baltimore a haven for illegal immigrant families. And this is what the stupid left does not understand. You can't replace a first world prosperous society with a third world population and expect it to go right. The intellect isn't there, the education isn't there, the drive isn't there, the trail burner republic spirit is not there, and they don't give a shit about the Constitution. Why would they? So, just a catastrophe waiting to happen. We know that immigrants attract other immigrants. Catalina Rodriguez Lima, who runs an immigrant outreach department for the city, told NPR, "Friends and family tell other people that they were able to have a home here, so that's why it's important to be able to retain those networks, because they themselves become a tool to attract additional immigrants, and thus Democratic votes." Rodriguez Lima's efforts have run smack up against the Trump administration's robust enforcement of federal immigration laws. Immigration-related arrests have increased 40% since President Trump took office in January. ICE enforcement and removal operations reports the agency averages over 400 immigrants arrests per day. To this end, she hopes the Legal Defense Fund will mitigate concerns illegal immigrants have about new federal policy. It all comes back to this guy, the leader of the Army of Darkness. It is amazing that this guy has been allowed to be alive. It's amazing no one took a shot at him or attacked him. It's amazing. But when it comes to a borderless society such as this guy wants, we can look no further than the divine pursuit of the biblical teachings to understand how important borders are. Let's take a look. So, the scriptures make it clear that the national sovereignty, including clearly defined borders, is God's idea. In Acts 17:26 we read, "And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place." And to understand this even further, God, in his divine wisdom, his infinite wisdom, even gave us walls on our cells. And here we have, I know it's not clear, but a microscopic picture of red blood cells. Each individual cell here. And what does each individual cell have? A wall. And much like our bodies, much like the border, a nation without a border is no nation at all. And if our blood cells did not have individual walls to protect them from each other, then you guessed it, we would not exist.